Crypto family, welcome back to the channel. Aaron here from the Bitcoin Bros coming back at you with another cryptocurrency video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. We have new crypto, Bitcoin, and financial related content coming out every single day. We've been keeping you guys up to date over the past couple of years, and we will continue to do so in the future. And we're going to be going over some on-chain data. We're going to be looking at some recent crypto news. We're going to be looking at a trend change of what people in the Bitcoin and crypto industry and members of the community are doing right now that could be potentially very, very bullish. A lot of useful information in today's video, so make sure to watch till the end. But let's just go ahead and jump into it here today. We're going to start off by checking out the Bitcoin balance on exchanges. It's currently dipping again, hitting yearly lows. You can see right now we have around 2.3 million Bitcoin on exchanges, and we haven't even gotten the ETF approval yet, which is expected to come over the next couple of months. So once we get that ETF approval, there's not a lot of Bitcoin out there on exchanges. If we look at the holders over the past year, we can see that more and more people are starting to just hodl their Bitcoin. The supply last active over a year ago is just going crazy. So it's actually above 70% now. So this basically means that over 70% of the total Bitcoin supply has not moved in over a year. The diamond hands, the people who actually believe in the future of Bitcoin, are not holding their BTC because they're expecting higher price gains in the future. And also checking out the hash rate here. The Bitcoin hash rate has continued to go up and up and up. We've seen price gains for Bitcoin over the past 3 months. So it makes sense that more miners are coming online. This is essentially good because it just makes the Bitcoin network more and more secure and more decentralized. And then another thing with this, the miners are actually making more money now because of Bitcoin ordinals. We've seen Bitcoin ordinals spike over the past couple of months, and this just means more revenue due to fees for the Bitcoin miners. So that's something we've seen here. Earlier in May, there was a big spike up of Bitcoin ordinals. It'll be interesting to see if ordinals continue to be a trend or if it just goes away over time. This will definitely incentivize more miners to come on the network, making Bitcoin's network even more secure. So good signs there. Bitcoin ordinals, I believe, is actually a great thing for the Bitcoin network. But let's go ahead and check out some other news, get away from the on-chain data there. This is from Dylan LeClaire. And this is actually really interesting here. So if you started a dollar cost average into Bitcoin at the all-time high back in November of 2021, and you bought every week or every 2 weeks, you're actually outperforming a lot of the other things in the market. You're outperforming the S&P, you're outperforming gold, you're outperforming the NASDAQ. And the reason is Bitcoin is down huge from that $70,000 all-time high. We've seen gold hit new all-time highs. But Bitcoin has actually outperformed if you dollar cost average in from this point. And the reason is you're buying into that volatility. If you believe in Bitcoin long term, you should always be buying it. When Bitcoin was down at $17,000 around a year ago, you would be buying at those cheap prices. You have made 100% gains on any money you put in a year ago. With gold, you're not getting that same effect because the volatility is not there for gold. Volatility is not there for the S&P and it's not there for the NASDAQ. Bitcoin, the volatility is actually a good thing if you believe in the long-term vision of Bitcoin because you're getting it at cheaper prices. So that is something to keep in mind. Why you should always buy Bitcoin, even if you're very fearful in the market, like a lot of people were back when the FTX stuff was going on. Bitcoin went down to $16,000 and everybody was calling for that $10,000 Bitcoin, but it never came. And then this is a tweet here from CryptoCon. I thought this was a good one. He says, the monthly parabolic SAR has flipped bullish for Bitcoin. And for the first time ever, the price has continued to make new highs afterwards. Each and every cycle, this has marked a local high, the cycle mid-top. On top of this, flipping the monthly SAR, bullish usually comes right before a fantastic rise once the local high is resolved. And this is something that, the Bitcoin bros have talked about. It does seem like right now is very, very similar to that mid-cycle top that we had in 2019 when Bitcoin was rebounding there. It went up to around $12,000. It peaked in 2019, and then it went back down. It went all the way down to like 3,800 during that COVID dump, but it did not blast off until the next bull run in 2021. So we could be at that local top right now. I'm not sure if 38,000 is going to be the exact top. We could go up to 42, maybe even 50 before coming back down. And this time is actually different, guys. If you look at the institutions, they're now getting into Bitcoin. The ETFs are coming. There's a 90% chance that these ETFs will be approved over the next couple of months. And I think this is actually different than any of the other cycles we've been through in Bitcoin. So I think that could potentially be a local top when those ETFs get approved. Something we'll have to wait and see, but I do believe we will have another mid-cycle top like we've seen over the past couple of cycles. And something to take note of here, this was a Reddit post I saw. I just thought this was actually really interesting. BlackRock and Fidelity, we are front running them. If you've been buying Bitcoin over the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you have front run BlackRock, you have front run Fidelity, all the institutions. But think about this, guys. There's so many people in the world today that don't have any Bitcoin, don't even really understand why Bitcoin is important. And it's really good for us in the space and people in crypto that the ETF is coming, but it's going to be hard for the everyday person to buy Bitcoin at $2, $3, $4, $500,000 once it gets there. So if you can get Bitcoin now before the institutions get in, I think it is definitely a great thing. If you can tell, your friends and family about it before these institutions come in and start to make money off Bitcoin, right now is a great time to tell those people, hey, maybe you should look into Bitcoin and learn about it. And I think a really important part of Bitcoin is telling people not just to invest into it, but to actually learn about Bitcoin. Why is it important? Why are people investing into Bitcoin? And if they learn about it, I think they'll be more likely to then invest in Bitcoin themselves. So just telling people to go all in on Bitcoin, they're probably not going to do it. They're going to think it's risky, not a great investment. But if they do that research, definitely think it will incentivize them to potentially invest in the future. And then if you didn't see this, MicroStrategy bought another 16,000 Bitcoin for $593 million. They now hold over 174,000 Bitcoin. And they have entered into agreement to raise another $750 million to buy more Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, they're doubling down on their word and they're going to continue to buy more and more Bitcoin. I do believe they almost have 1% of the entire Bitcoin supply. So once they get to 210,000, they'll be at that 1% Bitcoin supply mark. And that is just a lot of BTC. And MicroStrategy has actually outperformed Bitcoin over the past couple of years because they are leveraging their BTC and they've outperformed Bitcoin. So a lot of people say, why don't we just invest into MicroStrategy and not invest into Bitcoin? Well, you take on more risk when investing into MicroStrategy because what if the company does something stupid? Or what if MicroStrategy, the product, stops selling and they go out of business and they don't really have any buyers or users of that product? That is going to affect the stock price. And, if they can't repay their debt and they lose their cash flow, that's definitely going to affect their business going forward. So, you do take on more risk investing in MicroStrategy. It's not just a direct Bitcoin buy. With Bitcoin, you just buy Bitcoin, you own your own keys. You can put it in cold storage. Nobody can take it from you. And you're holding that underlying asset. You actually have the asset there. So you're not taking as much risk in investing in Bitcoin versus investing in MicroStrategy because MicroStrategy could do something stupid and completely mess it up in the future. But that is my thoughts on it. Some people say, hey, we're just going to invest in MicroStrategy because they're leveraging their Bitcoin and it's probably going to outperform Bitcoin in the future. But I do believe that MicroStrategy is something that maybe you should have in your portfolio. And I did want to go through a couple of posts that I feel like the trend is kind of just changing for Bitcoin. Somebody just took out a loan against their 401k to buy more Bitcoin. He's asking, am I done for doing this? The guy says, nope. I just did it yesterday for 10,000 over 60 months, 5% from Fidelity. No brainer to smash Bitcoin and wait 5 years. 99% chance it does more than the 5% return from today. And we're just starting to see this happen more and more. If you look over here on Reddit, somebody said, hey, I just sold my investment property to buy more Bitcoin. So people are selling stocks, selling real estate, and buying into Bitcoin because they're starting to realize like, hey, this is a great asset. They're starting to realize that there's not that much Bitcoin left out there. And if they can get at least one BTC, that could set them up in the future. So people selling real estate, selling stocks, selling their 401k to buy Bitcoin. And I mean, I think that's the best thing to do. Just buy Bitcoin and wait. I think it's going to outperform most other assets. You can go risk some of your money in the altcoins and potentially make more gains. But what the Bitcoin bros do, we do trade altcoins, but it's to get more Bitcoin at the end of the day. Because during a bull market, when Bitcoin's going up, it does tend to help the altcoins, and you might have an altcoin that does 100x. So you have more Bitcoin value there. But that is definitely more risky than just buying Bitcoin and wait, because I think it is something that is going to be for sure here over the next decade. And that's not financial advice. That's just my opinion on it. And also just checking out the Google Trends for the search term Bitcoin and crypto. Nobody's talking about Bitcoin right now, guys. I mean, Bitcoin is down to 17, crypto's at a 7. If you compare that back to 2021, we're nowhere near the amount of engagement, the amount of search volume we're getting for Bitcoin and crypto. I mean, it was at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 the entire year back in 2021. So people aren't paying attention. Bitcoin has been the best performing asset this year. I believe it's up around 140% over the past year. And nobody's really paying attention at all. And you got to think about all the positive news that we've seen this year. I mean, we have the spot ETFs that are coming very soon, which we talked about earlier. We also have the FASB accounting rules changing for Bitcoin, which is going to make it easier for corporations to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, along with presidential candidates talking about Bitcoin. We've seen Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis from the Republican side talk about how they really like Bitcoin, how they're investors themselves. And we've also seen RFK, I believe he's running as an independent, saying that he believes that Bitcoin should back the United States dollar. So there's been a lot more belief in Bitcoin. I mean, we did not have this 4 years ago, guys. We didn't have anybody, and no presidential candidates, barely any people in the government were talking about Bitcoin. But after 2021, when those explosive price gains, it got put on a lot of people's roadmap. And, now we're starting to see presidential candidates even talk about it. So it is a thing of the future. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. But that's not financial advice. That's just my opinion. But leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know about what you're doing in this current market. Are you buying more Bitcoin? Are you waiting because you think prices are going to go lower? Let me know what you're doing. Put your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. My name is Aaron from the Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.